Oh, you better believe it. You talk about a person that wanted a win streak of 3 in a row. I mean, the ranks that I would put those in, J.J. Piccolo, Matt Cottrero, and Josh Vernier. How was that weekend, Vern? I know it was the West Coast. I know it was late games Friday and Saturday and a 3 o'clock start on Sunday, but damn, that had to feel good, buddy.
Yeah, you're right, man. And you know, the brand of baseball, not just the fact that they won, because they swept the Angels last weekend, and yet when we talked, we were encouraged, but there was still the, I'd like to see you do it against a team that's has a quality pitching staff, a better bullpen, maybe just a little bit better, a more well-rounded team. And even in that Angels series, you know, the Royals defensively on the base paths and even at times offensively left quite a bit to be desired. And now I'm not saying that the 3-game sweep in Seattle was perfect, but the base running, the Royals were better. Defensively, the Royals were better. Offensively, didn't look as if they were walking up to the dish with one hand wrapped around their throat. They weren't chasing. What they did in Seattle was something they didn't do over the first 3 weeks, and I'm not talking about winning or a winning road trip or sweeping a series away from Kauffman Stadium. What they did was avoid the things that get you beat in the big leagues. What they did was accept the gifts given to them by the Seattle Mariners, from sloppy base running by Randy Arozarena to walks and hit by pitches and free passes from the Seattle pitching staff. And then, of course, again, the defense of Seth Lugo, of Maikel Garcia, of Isaac Collins. The Royals just looked, for the first time all season, like a good baseball team. So, yeah, it was a very encouraging weekend, the most encouraging series we've had all year.
And what were you most encouraged about, Vern?
Well, I really think it's that. It's the brand of baseball. Okay. It doesn't matter who's on the other side. You can beat them by doing those things, by doing the little things. Now, of course, you need Carlos Estevez back. You need consistency from Cole Reagans. You need Vinny Pasquantino to be the Pasquatch. There's still plenty of room for improvement, but the brand of baseball was reflective of a team that has postseason aspirations. And to me, it's the first time we've seen it all year.
When you looked at that lineup this weekend, it stayed steady for 3 straight games. Obviously, right-handers all throughout. Tanner Bybee tonight. Do you expect to see that same lineup at the K tonight?
Yeah, it's hard to point in a different direction, especially going up against a righty. And if you were listening to J.J. Piccolo yesterday, he talked about that careful balance that Matt Quatrero's trying to find right now of win tonight, but also Jack Caglione and Carter Jensen are going to be taking huge at-bats in October if you ultimately get there. And JJ and Q both pointing to the fact that, yeah, you're likely going to see these guys in the lineup every single day. And I know people were celebrating that over the weekend, but if you look at the numbers, Carter and Cags were basically everyday players this season. The best way to judge that is qualified hitters in Major League Baseball. Do you have enough at-bats to win the batting title? And there are 6 Royals that are qualified hitters, and it's the 6-pack of sluggers that we expected to lead this offense all season. Mikey, Bobby, Vinny, Salvi, and then the 2 youngsters. And right now the 5 and 6 hitters in Carter and Cag. So, yeah, why not? If it's working, run it out there again, and we're not going to see a lefty until Wednesday and Joey Cantillo as he goes opposite Cole Reagan. So tonight and tomorrow, wouldn't be surprised to see the same 9 out there.
And that's good. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You allow guys to kind of get into a rhythm and see what they can do. I think it's just better for everybody, Vern, to have that steady lineup, especially for those players who were like, we want you guys to take it to that next level. It's hard to do that if you don't get the opportunities.
Well, they're earning it. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I don't want these guys given something, and quite often, and this isn't a Kansas City thing, this is every team around Major League Baseball in April, while, managers figuring out his bullpen, figuring out his bench, you're seeing a lot of different lineups, not just in Kansas City, but in Detroit, in Cleveland, all around Major League Baseball. I mean, they're complaining. They were. Just like they're complaining that Cags wasn't in against lefties here. They're saying the same thing in Detroit about Kerry Carpenter, in New York about Ben Rice, in Chicago about Ballesteros. So every team, every fan base has that lefty hitter that they want in there against lefties. But, you start to dive into the numbers, whether it's Kyle Isbell batting .310 this season against righties, but a .150 or a .167 against lefties. Cags, his splits across the board aren't as eye-popping as they are for Kyle Isbell. But, I think a lot of it just has to do with the run of righties that they're facing, and, Cags has earned it. Carter Jensen had it earned at the beginning of the season. He's in there against Chris Sale. Isaac Collins, Michael Massey, Kyle Isbell, I don't know if they've earned every day at bat. So when a lefty coming up on Wednesday, Massey and Izzy will likely be on the bench for a Lane Thomas and a Nick Lofton, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I like the way that you say earned it, because I know the pitching's not as fun to talk about as the hitting, but by God, Daniel Lynch looks like he's earned his spot in that bullpen. He's been electric, Vern, as that left-handed guy coming out of the bullpen. Got a save yesterday. It's kind of like a two-part loaded question. Obviously, the earned status of Daniel Lynch, but obviously without Carlos Estevez, I like this bullpen 7, 8, 9, Avila, Lynch, and Isig.
What about Matt Strahm?
Yeah, he can get in there.
He's in there too? Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to Avila hasn't earned it yet, in my opinion. He is coming off his best performance of the season. It's only like his fourth big league appearance of the season. So, to me, Matt Strahm still is one of those top three. But the fact that you're that intrigued by Avila, the fact that Lynch has earned exactly what you're talking about, Lucas Erceg looks locked in right now, and the fact that Carlos Estevez is going to begin his rehab assignment tomorrow in Omaha, it's all kind of shaping up right now. So much so that even when Estevez does return, knock on wood, it happens before the end of the month, even when he does return, it's not as if the team's not in the situation it was just 2 weeks ago where it's, big fella, we are desperate for you at the back end of the bullpen. You're the ninth inning guy. Get right back in there, and we need you to be good. There's not that kind of pressure, at least not today. There's not that type of pressure on Carlos Estevez. You can ease him back in a low-leverage situation and make him earn those save opportunities. Now, I think he will climb the ranks pretty quickly in that bullpen because of his salary and his track record, but it's not a desperation right now for the big fella to get back. The fact that you do have 4 relievers right now, and Nick Mears is making a pretty strong case to make it 5. The fact that you have 4 relievers that keep you in front of the radio or keep you in front of the TV, that's pretty eye-popping considering where we were just a few days ago with this bullpen. Prior to this road trip, I think there were still plenty of questions of not only is the bullpen the weak link, but is it a fatal flaw of this team? Fast forward 1 week, and it seems like the answer is no.
It's amazing how things just flip-flop in a week in baseball, though, because next week we could be back talking about the same thing again, right? It's matchups, it's all this stuff, right?
Yeah, this whole homestand. I mean, I could be as dejected. You guys could turn the page and be talking, a training camp or whatever's next for the Chiefs. By this time next week, these 7 games, 4 against Cleveland and then 3 against Detroit, I mean, the entire baseball world, the entire American League Central could be flipped on its head. I'm very, very excited for this 7-game homestand. Excited to see, hopefully, that winning brand of baseball. For as much as I want the Royals to win every game, I just want them to look like they deserve to win every single game, even if they don't.
You mentioned Massey at second base and Lofton and that platoon going on there. What is your, I guess, I don't want to say dream, but what would be your ideal situation involving second base? Is that somebody you still go out and acquire to give you that everyday second baseman, or are you good with a platoon there?
If you can improve, if you're going for the division title, right? If the Royals can get back to 500 and really start to realign their crosshairs and put them back on that division title, you would like an upgrade offensively at second base. Defensively, I have plenty of faith in Michael Massey. I know the ability offensively is there for Michael Massey as well. I would love for him to be the everyday second baseman. That would be ideal. but I don't know if I could count on him health-wise. I just don't know if I can count on his back to be there for the next 5 months. And honestly, I have the same question about Vinny Pasquantino. I mean, if the big fella's already dealing with a low back issue with 5 months to play, if he's not at 100%, 34 games into the season, you're telling me he's going to grind until the All-Star break, and that's the first time he's going to get an extended rest? So I'm worried about Vinny's back, just like I'm worried about Michael Massey's back moving forward. But if there's a way to upgrade second base at the trade deadline, if Michael Massey isn't able to take a stranglehold on that position, I think you would be able to find a second baseman. Just off the top of my head, I look at Baltimore right now. They're without Jackson Holliday. And Jermaine Jackson, Jeremiah Jackson is their fill-in second baseman.
Joe
Jeremiah.
Jackson.
No, I wouldn't want Joe Jackson anywhere near my team.
Not a chance.
No.
But Jeremiah Jackson, I think, could be possibly an upgrade at second base, a right-handed bat. But again, ideal, it's Michael Massey's job, and he finally becomes that player we thought he was going to be at the end of the 24 season.
You know, you start looking around the league at what's going on, and I'm not saying this is the right move, but is it something that you consider maybe with Volpe now out with the Yankees, maybe flipping nothing to the Yankees and getting him to come in and play second base for you?
Yeah, to me, for as much as Royals fans and even some inside the clubhouse dislike Jazz Chisholm, Anthony Volpe's the punk on that team. You go back and watch that whole unless you're a Yankee fan, then I would like that type of player on my team. But, he kind of sunned Maikel Garcia, patting him on the back. Even last year in the regular season, there was shenanigans at second base between a Royals base runner and Anthony Volpe. I don't know if he – I was going to say I don't know if he fits in the clubhouse, but if the dude produces –
everybody fits, right?
Yeah. These guys are professionals. They'll be able to roll with it. But, first thing that came to my mind was I don't know if I'm interested in bringing that dude into this clubhouse. But I would also venture to guess that Bobby knows him from years previous. I'm sure they came up playing in the all-star games together. So who knows? There are no bad ideas if you're going for a division title and you have a chance to even incrementally improve your roster.
So let's talk about this next 10, Vern, because the Royals just go 7-3 in their last 10. They put up 58 runs for an easy math of 5.8 a game in that. And now you get 4 versus Cleveland at home, 3 versus Detroit at home. Then you go to the South Side and play 3 against the White Sox. You start the series off against Cleveland with Waka, Cameron, Reagans. Obviously, Cameron and Reagans have to be better. They haven't been off to their best starts, but Reagans looks kind of like he's starting to kind of get into that groove. What is the next 10 what does the next 10 need to be for these Royals who sit at 15 and 19?
Yeah, listen, if I'm holding them to the standard that was set at the beginning of the season, that this is a team that should win the division, well, it begins with a winning homestand. So 4-3 at worst at home. And then you're going to take on a White Sox team that, yes, is improved. But if you play the type of baseball that we saw this weekend in Seattle, the expectation should be take 2 of 3 on the South Side. So 6-4. Again, it's just about chipping away. I'm looking at the middle of June after that National Series. That's when I want this team back to 500. It'd be better if they got there sooner than that. But a 6-4 stretch, I'll take it so long as they're playing quality baseball, as long as the defense and the base running, so long as they look like a team that was in the game, that deserved to win, even if they didn't. So I'll say I'll take 6-4 right now.
It's so hard to get back to that 500 mark, man. Just listening to you talk about that, you're saying the National Series by June, and you look at the record, and they're only 4 under 500 right now. But even if they went 5-2 over their next 7, they're still a game under 500. Right. That's why that slow start is so magnified, because you spend half the season, Vern, just getting back to even and basically playing where you can't make a mistake going forward.
And if they're able to get back to 500 by the middle of June, that'll get J.J. Piccolo a month and a half before the trade deadline, 1 month before the All-Star break to kind of reassess this team and not only address the bullpen and possibly second base, but we'll also know what's going on with Vinny at first in that lower back. How about Salvi and that hamstring? I mean, there's Like you mentioned, Bob, things change quickly in this game, and by the middle of June, Royals could be atop the division or back in the basement, and that's why we stay tuned in.
So I was listening earlier when you were talking about how the players look different as, like, the product of the team. What did you see from Cags this weekend? Because obviously my eyes see a big home run and a ball that got to Julio Rodriguez that he's never seen get to him that quick in center field. And Cags showed hustle. I thought yesterday, even though it was boring, I thought a big move for Cags yesterday, Vern. I don't know where you look at this from how you divvy out the game. But him avoiding those double plays and still getting a run in without getting thrown out at first, to me, that was a massive step forward to his ceiling being moved up.
I'm glad you acknowledge the base running, give him credit for the base running, but I'm not one to celebrate hustle. You're in the big leagues, man, you better be hustling, but I'm glad you mentioned it because it does deserve to be mentioned because, sadly, not everybody makes the kind of effort that we saw from Jack Caglione multiple times yesterday on the base pass. My biggest takeaway is something that I heard from Q yesterday in his MLB Network radio interview. Now, it's a very interesting series against Seattle because Cags comes to the plate with Salvi on third as the tying run back on Friday, and he's lifted for Lane Thomas. Thomas comes in, shoots one to center field, ties the game up, or I should say, gives the Royals a lead, and Royals go on to take that opener. Q talked about that move on Friday when he lifts Cags and puts in Lane Thomas, that it was really the first time all year he's seen Cags buy in immediately, where the decision to pinch hit late comes up, Thomas comes off the bench, Cags walks back into the dugout, and before he even gets to the dugout, he's cheering on Lane Thomas. Like, let's go. He's picking up his teammate. You can tell now that those late game pinch hit situations, now that the guys inside the clubhouse are starting to see Q's decision-making work out, he thought that was a big step for Cags to understand that it's not about me. It's about us walking away with the victory. And, man, Cags has been really impressive in his pre- and post-game interviews as well, answering questions of, what stands out about this team, what's been the key to the turnaround. He always points to the clubhouse. So did Daniel Lynch and Matt Strom and so many of these guys pointing to the leaders inside of that clubhouse and getting their strength from the belief that is being shared inside that clubhouse. So, yeah, the maturation of a former top 10 pick in Jack Caglione, it's happening quick here in 2025, and that should be exciting for all Royals fans out there because you have to imagine as he continues to mature and calm and see the bigger picture, dude's about to take off.
All right, Vern, big passing in baseball over the last couple hours. John Sterling passing away, the legendary voice of the Yankees. I think one of the greatest of all time. Made the games very, very entertaining. What did you take away from John Sterling's call of the game when he was doing that for the Yankees over those years?
Yeah, to me, growing up, he was one of those voices where, to me, it was just a voice. It wasn't a real person. It was. It was New York Yankee baseball, and born in '83, I'm 13 when they win in '96. So I'm right in my prime as Jeter and those boys are running off title after title, and John Sterling was the soundtrack, and it really didn't matter what age you were. He did something that you liked. Joel Sherman, I always thought, put it best when it came to Sterling. He says he's not everybody's cup of tea, but there's never been a cup of tea like him.
Right.
And I think that's the perfect way to put it.
That's really good. No, it's true. You talk to people over the years, and I know some old school baseball people are like, oh, he doesn't need to be doing that. It's not a comedy show and all that. Right. But I listen to it and I go, but Yankee fans love it. And he's broadcasting for the Yankee fans. And if your fans love what you're doing, you might as well keep on doing it. Very talented, very creative, very entertaining. I think it's what a baseball broadcast should be.
I agree, and I think this weekend, television-wise, was a nice reminder of everything that Rex Hudler brings to the television broadcast for the Royals. Some may say he's not their cup of tea, but, man, it's hard not to smile when you listen to Hud talk about baseball.
Yeah, it's funny you said that because I started the show. I go, it just felt right this weekend. As much as I love Diane and Rennie, Denny and Ryan on the radio.
Diane Rossini?
I didn't realize how much I missed HUD until he was gone, and then he was back. And that first game in Oakland was like a 3:30 or that day game, whatever it was. And I'm like, this is just right. This just feels right to have Rex Hudler back on these broadcasts. And it's amazing the relationship that you form with announcers, Vern. I'm sure most Royals fans have a relationship with you. I'm sure there's some that have relationships with us. But it seems like everybody has that relationship with their baseball announcer. And HUD showed you, I think, over the weekend how strong that relationship is between him and Kansas City.
Yeah, that's well said. It was,
Thank you.
Especially with the way this season started. Right, I needed HUD.
Yeah.
I think all Royals fans needed that. Isn't it great to be at the ballpark? Man,
made
I
me
needed
feel
that
better,
attitude.
Vern. He made me feel better. I'm not going to lie.
No, I'm with you 100%. Great to have him back, and always nice seeing him at the ballpark. Look forward to it.
I thought his best moment was when Naylor struck out and slammed the bat against the ground and lost his helmet, and Ryan's like, man, he's got to watch out, and Hudler just goes, quack.
Yeah.
You got to go.
Yeah. All right, Vern. I'll see you tonight, brother. Enjoy the game tonight.
Nice.
Enjoy the weather. Oh, I got to get out there, man. I'm
Gotta
all
get
in.
that Cags bobble, baby.
That's right, man. I can't wait.
Right.
Hey, we'll listen to you tonight, and hopefully we keep this winning streak going. And as always, man, we love you here on the station.
All right, thank you very much.